Nobody goes to Olive Garden expecting to watch somebody die. But on October 18, 2025, a Saturday afternoon in North Las Vegas, that is exactly what happened in the parking lot of the one on East Craig Road. And the person behind the wheel was not a stranger. She was the mother of the victim's 8 children. They had been together for 20 years, and their 4-year-old daughter was buckled into the backseat when it happened. This is the story of Andrea Roman, Bryan Hicks, and the 60 seconds in a restaurant parking lot that ended a 20-year relationship, a father's life, and any chance those 8 kids ever had of growing up with both parents in the house. Bryan Hicks turned 40 years old that morning, October 18th, his birthday. He woke up with a burst disc in his back and no medication to treat it. He was in pain, the kind of pain that makes you short-tempered, irritable, hard to be around. Anyone who has dealt with a back injury knows what that feels like. You do not want to talk. You do not want to move. You definitely do not want to argue. Andrea Roman, also 40, was his longtime girlfriend. 20 years together, not married. She referred to him as her husband, but they never made it legal. 8 children between them. Ages 4 to 22, 2 decades. That is longer than most marriages last. And by all accounts, the relationship had its problems. That morning, Terry had plans. It was Bryan's birthday, and they were going to start the day by picking up some of their electronics, tablets, computers, from a pawn shop. Andrea had just bought a new vehicle the day before, a Mitsubishi Outlander, red, brand new to her. Less than 24 hours behind the wheel. They loaded up the youngest, their 4-year-old daughter, into the back seat and headed out. The pawn shop trip went fine. Andrea drove. She reversed out of the parking spot. She navigated traffic. She operated the vehicle, the way any person operates a vehicle they understand. That detail matters later. After the pawn shop, Bryan told Andrea he wanted coffee. He asked her to change the route. This small request, coffee on his birthday, started an argument. The kind of argument that does not make sense to anyone outside the relationship. The kind where 2 people who have been together too long and been through too much can turn a left turn into a war. The argument escalated. Bryan told Andrea to let him out of the car. Andrea pulled into the parking lot of the Olive Garden on East Craig Road near North Bruce Street. It was the middle of the day. The lot had cars in it. People were coming and going, families walking in for lunch, a normal Saturday afternoon. Bryan got out. He slammed the door. Then he walked around to the front of the SUV and started kicking the car. The new car, the one she had owned for less than a day. That set Andrea off. She got out too. The 2 of them stood near the hood of the Mitsubishi Outlander, arguing, yelling, the kind of scene that makes strangers look away and walk faster toward the restaurant entrance. Their 4-year-old daughter was still in the back seat, watching. At some point during the argument, Andrea got back in the driver's seat. What happened next was captured on a bystander's dashcam. The footage shows Andrea behind the wheel of the red Outlander. Bryan is standing near the front of the vehicle. His back is partially turned. He is not looking at the SUV. He is not bracing for anything. He is standing in a parking lot on his birthday, in pain after an argument about coffee. The SUV lurches forward, then stops. It lurches forward again, then stops. A 3rd time, forward, stop. 3 times, the vehicle inched toward Bryan Hicks. 3 deliberate jolts, and then Andrea Roman turned the steering wheel hard to the left, directly toward Bryan, and accelerated. The Mitsubishi Outlander struck Bryan Hicks and drove over him. His head went under the front driver's side tire. The full weight of a mid-size SUV pressed down on his skull and neck. He could not move. He could not breathe. He could not call for help. His 4-year-old daughter was in the back seat the entire time. Here is where the story takes a turn that almost sounds made up. A North Las Vegas police detective happened to be at that Olive Garden, off-duty, picking up lunch. He saw the whole thing. He watched Andrea Roman drive over Bryan Hicks in a parking lot in broad daylight. The detective drew his concealed firearm, ordered Roman to the ground, and held her there until uniformed officers arrived. An off-duty homicide detective, 50 feet away, eating at Olive Garden on a Saturday. When North Las Vegas police arrived at the scene, they found Bryan Hicks's neck wedged under the front driver's side tire of the red Mitsubishi Outlander. He was unresponsive. Emergency medical crews attempted to save him, but it was too late. The Clark County Coroner's Office later determined the cause of death: traumatic asphyxia. Bryan Hicks's head was pinned under the tire, preventing him from getting enough oxygen. He suffocated under the weight of his girlfriend's new car on his 40th birthday in a parking lot, while their daughter sat in the back. Andrea Roman was taken into custody at the scene. She was booked into the North Las Vegas Detention Center and charged with open murder with a deadly weapon enhancement. The deadly weapon was the Mitsubishi Outlander. No bail. During the investigation, Roman spoke with police. She told them it was an accident. She said she thought the SUV was in reverse. She said she had only owned the vehicle since the day before and was not used to the gears. She did not mean to hit him. She was just trying to scare him. It was only to scare him. That is what she told investigators. She was not trying to kill him. She was trying to scare the father of her 8 children by driving a 4,000-pound SUV in his direction, as a scare tactic, in a public parking lot, with their youngest child in the vehicle. Prosecutors did not believe her. Deputy District Attorney Cassandra Acosta pointed to the dashcam footage. 3 deliberate lurches forward, a turn of the steering wheel directly toward Bryan, then full acceleration. That is not an accident. That is not confusion about a gear shift. That is aim, intent, and execution. Acosta also pointed to the pawn shop earlier that morning. Andrea had successfully reversed out of a parking space at the pawn shop. She navigated traffic. She understood the gears well enough to drive across town. I did not know how the car worked defense fell apart before it started. On February 24, 2026, Andrea Roman appeared for a preliminary hearing in North Las Vegas Justice Court. Prosecutors played the dashcam footage for the court. They called Greg Hess, a medical examiner with the Clark County Coroner's Office, who testified that Hicks's head was pinned under the tire and that he died of traumatic asphyxia. Roman's defense attorney, David Lopez Negrete, argued that the crash was unintentional. He maintained that Roman thought the vehicle was in reverse and that this was a tragic accident, not a murder. Justice of the Peace Kalani Hu reviewed the evidence. He said there was slight or marginal evidence supporting the murder charge, but slight or marginal was enough. He bound the case over for trial. A jury would decide whether Andrea Roman intentionally killed Bryan Hicks or whether it was an accident involving a car she did not know how to drive. As of early 2026, Andrea Roman remains in custody without bail. The case is proceeding to district court. A trial date has not been publicly set. 8 children lost their father on his birthday. The youngest watched it happen from the backseat of the car that killed him. Their mother is sitting in a jail cell, telling anyone who will listen that she was only trying to scare him. 20 years, 8 kids, 1 argument about coffee, and a dashcam that caught the moment a parking lot became a crime scene. Bryan Hicks turned 40 that morning. He never made it to 41. He never got his coffee. And the woman who said she loved him for 2 decades drove over his head in front of their daughter and told police she thought the car was in reverse. She inched forward 3 times. She turned the wheel, and she hit the gas.